Hi, my name is Austin Von Johnson. I play Erigis in the Bottle Cap Brigade, and these are 3 improv principles that can elevate your D&D game. Aside from D&D, I've also been performing live improv comedy and teaching improv classes for the past 6 years. After getting into Dungeons & Dragons, I started to notice all of the crossover of the collaborative storytelling of D&D and long-form improvised narrative theater. So with that in mind, I figured I'd put together 3 improv principles that can help elevate your D&D game. But also, there are a lot more, so if you really like this video, let us know and we might make more of them. Okay, let's get into it. Now, the first principle I'm going to talk about is yes and. If you know anything about improv, you probably saw this coming because it's literally the most foundational principle of improv comedy, but also ironically, one of the most difficult to master. So yes and is a 2-step process, beginning first with the yes, which is accepting an offer that's gifted to you by your scene partner and acknowledging that as reality. Followed by the and, which is building on that, adding to it, if we accept this as real, then what else is real? The opposite is what we call a denial. This is what a denial looks like. Thanks so much for coming on this date with me to the park. We're not in the park, we're on the moon! You need to put your helmet on or you're gonna die! You've also probably seen that episode of The Office where Michael Scott takes an improv class. That's full of denials. This jarring and awkward energy needs to be avoided at all costs in your D&D group. So practice saying yes to your players and your fellow party members. If the DM is trying to set a mood, say yes to that. If a party member is having an emotional experience, lean into it. If a player is excited to add some flavor or pursue a character development that doesn't break the game, find a way to say yes. This helps keep everyone engaged and avoids that awkward and jarring energy that everybody experiences when players or DMs feel denied. The second principle is one I like to call don't drop the baby. Oh yeah, his name is Todrick. Brian, what's up, man? How's it going? Once you create something, it's created. Let it be real and have value and carry weight. If you don't, then your players or your fellow party members or your DM will lose a sense of connection with the stuff that you create. And that continuity in your storytelling as a player character or a dungeon master helps make items and events in the story that much more impactful. If you're a player, don't create a backstory or hell, even an accent that you're gonna have difficulty carrying through the entirety of the campaign. You don't wanna commit yourself to something that's gonna end up being a burden or is easily dropped. But if you find that you've done that, maybe there's an element of your backstory that is becoming more and more difficult to carry with you from session to session, maybe talk with your dungeon master and figure out a way for your character to have justifiable growth and kind of resolution in that part of their backstory. Dungeon masters also be mindful of conditions that you afflict your player characters with, or powerful items that you give them, or characters that you create in the session. Ultimately, if your players or your fellow party members lose that sense of connection to the things that you create, they'll subconsciously stop valuing your creations. And this ultimately makes them stop caring. And that's a big deal because one of the keys to great storytelling is making the audience, or in this case, your players or your DM, care. The last principle is make each other look good. Now this one is much more of a mindset. Improvised theater, especially long-form narrative improv, is all about the ensemble. And Dungeons & Dragons is no different. One of the best ways for your D&D group to have fun is for each member to make it their own personal goal to make the other players look good. It's a very simple concept that can go a long way. It's a very I scratch your back and you scratch mine and we're all scratched and no one's itchy type of situation. Even if your character's a little chaotic, you can still scratch the back of the other party members. Maybe your character is super afraid of one of the party members, or they admire one of the party members, or they kind of have a soft spot for a party member and it's the only one that can kind of reel them back from their madness. It's a whole Black Widow and Hulk situation. You get it? Making each other look good is just all about that mutual exchange. And this is important because remember, D&D doesn't have to be a competitive game. It's collaborative storytelling with kind of a little sub-game. And as each player contributes to this collaborative storytelling, if they're doing so with the goal in mind to make each other look good, you're so much more likely to enjoy the experience every time your group gets together. And that wraps it up. Like I said earlier, if you really enjoyed this video, then let us know about it in the comments, like it, do all the things, and we might make some more of them. Also, if you have any questions about any of the things that I talked about, drop them in the comments and I'll answer them. Okay, bye.